It's getting darker earlier and earlier, which means it's almost time for Hanukkah. If you're like me, you might struggle to remember just exactly how you're supposed to light the menorah. Do you add candles from the left or right? And do you light the candles from the left or the right? And why do you even light the Hanukkah candles? And isn't it a serious fire hazard to place those burning candles in the window near the drapes? Give me a few minutes and I'll answer all these questions and more. The origins of Hanukkah are actually quite complex, but the rabbis have provided us with a nice, simple story that's easy to teach kids. The Greek Assyrians made life difficult for the Jewish people, so a group of Kohanim, or priests, led by a man named Judah Maccabee, started a rebellion to regain Jewish autonomy in Israel. After the war ended, the Maccabees went to rededicate the temple, which included the kindling of the menorah that stood just outside the Holy of Holies. And when they went to fill the menorah's cups with olive oil, there was only enough to last for one night. But miraculously, the oil lasted for 8. Now, as nice as this story is, it's most likely not true. In fact, the idea of lighting lamps at this time of year is more likely due to the earlier pagan festival Saturnalia. And the actual story of the Maccabees is much more about civil war between Jewish factions. But for political reasons, the rabbis of the Talmud passed down this more palatable tale. And it's this version of the story that influences the way we observe the holiday to this very day. The primary mitzvah, or commandment, of Hanukkah is Pirsume Nisa, which means publicizing the miracle. That is, the miracle of the oil. This is why we light the Hanukkah menorah, which is also called the Hanukah. Menorah just means candelabra, no matter how many branches it has. A Hanukah is a special menorah for Hanukkah that contains 9 branches. As the purpose of the menorah is to publicize the miracle of Hanukkah, it's customary to place the Hanukah in a window facing the street so that passers-by will see the flames and be inspired by the Hanukkah story. Similarly, the tradition is to light the candles around the time that people would be heading home from work, so you maximize the amount of people who might see them. However, if it's not safe or practical to place your candles in the window, it's perfectly fine to light them wherever and whenever you prefer. In the Talmud, there's a disagreement over how to light the menorah. Beit Shammai says we should start with 8 candles and subtract 1 each night. This corresponds to the sacrifices that would be offered on the holiday, as a priest would sacrifice 1 fewer cow each day. Beit Hillel, on the other hand, says we should start with 1 candle and add 1 each night. The reason they give is Ma'alin b'kodesh ve'ein moridin, or we only increase holiness, we never diminish it. As we almost always follow the teachings of Beit Hillel, this is the practice we observe to this very day. So, on the first night, we place a single candle on the right side of the menorah, as we read Hebrew from right to left. And each night, we add another candle, making our way to the left. However, when we light the candles, we start on the left as it's the newest candle. This way, then that. Speaking of lighting the candles, the proper procedure to follow is first to bless, and only after the blessing is finished do we light the candles. When we bless, we first recite Lahadlik Ner Shel Hanukkah, which speaks to the commandment of lighting the candles. And then we bless Sha'asa Nisim, which is about the wonder of the miracle. Finally, on the first night, we also bless Shehechianu, to express gratitude for making it a whole year since we last lit the Hanukkah candles. Now, with the blessings recited, we can't use just any candle to light. We must use the shamash, a special candle whose sole purpose is functional. This is because we cannot use the Hanukkah candles for anything other than the mitzvah of Pirsume Nisa. You might have the habit of melting the bottom of the shamash on one of the other candles. Technically, you shouldn't do that. Instead, just tip the shamash over, right, and drip a little bit of a wax into its holder, and then you place it down. Finally, once the candles are lit, it's customary to sing some Hanukkah songs, like Ma'ot Sur, Al Hanisim, or whatever you like. And while some families might exchange gifts, that's really not a traditional part of the holiday. However, Enjoying some delicious fried foods most definitely is. The oily foods are another way to publicize the miracle of the oil. So enjoy some delicious latkes or potato pancakes, sufganiyot or donuts, and any other greasy foods you love. And there you have it, everything you need to know to light the Hanukkah candles and fulfill the mitzvah of Pirsume Nisa. Thank you for joining me for this week's Taste of Torah. Happy Hanukkah.